Well, what's going on, fellow zombies? It's in the afternoon. 1:41 p.m. It is the 3rd of September 2024. Zombie, Weaver, John C. of Roseman, California. Yeah. If I was in Palos, Verdes right now, I wouldn't be doing this kind of thing. Hell, I wouldn't be able to do a live feed out there. They got no power. You heard me. The area that the slide is, well, it's getting a lot worse. What the news reports are saying and what the scientists are saying. Because the slide is getting more and more active. The two slides actually are getting more and more active. That they are showing more deformation, more house, uh, more damage everywhere. I hate to say this. I hate to be the guy saying this thing and being the chicken little but I'm coming across reports, and based on what my limited knowledge of geology is at this point over here, since we are dealing with a fast moving slide, I figure within a month we're going to have a hell of a lot of deformation in the Rancho Palos Verdes Peninsula. If there were, if there was a road going along the cliffside or on the bottom of it, I would say within a month it would have a ton of material on it. I hate to sound like this, but I'm sounding like this because this is scaring the hell out of me. I know I'm safe in Antelope Valley, cooking to death in triple degrees out here, but I feel empathy for and towards them out there. I mean, other people would just be laughing their heads off or just scowling or scoffing at them, saying, "Well, this is what happens when you're living over there, and you do this and it happened, and and do the tongue thing at this point over here." I would have to come up with a response like, "Well, what happens if your particular home was running into in a situation where you're in a hazard zone?" Bet we're all in a hazard zone. Where's your house located in? Well, it's in a canyon. It doesn't have to worry about these things, does it? Oh boy. You can't say that to me about that. Oh, yes, I can. Which particular canyon we're dealing with here? Are you living on the top or the bottom here? Well, on the bottom. I'd be safe, wouldn't I? Not really. Of course, you'd have a conniption fit at this point. It really would. And if we are starting to show some more creep and more sliding in our hillsides, yes, we all have to be aware of it. If the ground is not getting rid of the moisture enough or trying to stabilize itself, we are in for it. I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because I'm looking at situations here that's going to be affecting our coastline up and down the state, and I don't know if we're going to have the cash for it or not. Or how about up and down the coastline itself? I don't know if this is concerning about the climate conditions worsening, or is this going to be the natural geologic process that was still ongoing before we started figuring this was a, a meteorological nightmare we're going to be dealing with? I don't know. I can't say. I don't have the experience. I'm not out there measuring a lot of things. And if I was, it would probably give me a different viewpoint of looking at it. It still scares me. It still scares me. Yes, technically, I look at my own area. I don't have any cliffs coming down on top of us. We don't have that kind of situation happening over here. We should be technically safe about things. I've seen too much fire happening out in the landscapes. It scares me. because we are dealing with changing conditions of our environment too much, and we're in for it. Watershed is supposed to be holding in the water, being burned off, so now we got that to deal with. What else are we going to do? But I'm looking at our desert regions, thinking we're all right, we're safe. I'm still waiting for sinkholes to happen. I'm waiting for when the ground starts opening up and sucking things down, or just opening up maybe a few feet at a time, or maybe there's a cavern. I don't know, but at this point, I am not dealing with this, and it's nerve rattling. For the most part, we're safe. We don't know if anything else is going to happen. We think we got a stable enough environment out here, except for all the plant life being burned away by human stupidity, one way or another, either by design or by accident. But I can't say the same thing for Rancho. I cannot. I won't. I was trying to bun up on the history concerning about Rancho Palos Verdes, and including about marine land, from what was gathered around 1954. It starts up with a marine park too damn close to the area of where people are experiencing the slide. And Rancho Palos Verdes there's a little bit of a knob in their area, in the peninsula area, where it used to be. When they were showing on the maps of Palos Verdes, on the northern west point of that peninsula, bit of a rounded jutted edge that they have. It's where their marine land used to be. If I happen to go over to the maps on this one, Google Maps is usually what I use all the time. And as soon as it starts working at this point on the other laptop, scroll out, widen this shot until I get myself orientated and move the picture to get over to the peninsula, right by LAX and Long Beach. So, at this point, I'm scrolling over to the slide area, using the satellite image on this one. And the slide area has the two jets sticking out. But on the northern west end of the slide area, where they call Terrania Resort, that used to be the area for marine land. They had gone through a couple of owners, if I'm reading it correctly. One of them was SeaWorld, the latest. Took all the life forms they had out there, put them over to the San Diego facility, and promptly shut it down in '89. It was a good thing they did, because if they actually had a '94 earthquake, man, they'd be really in trouble. But looking at the area where they used to have, redevelopment came in there and took over the spot. A mall area, highly upper, and we have beach, but also rocky cliffs in the area. So this is like a upper class zone of residential and entertainment area for them. Yeah. And now you got these people are going to be dealing with a slide that's going to be tearing apart their homes that they've had there for less than 40 years, maybe 30. It's got enough time to set up. It's got enough time to set up memories. But I hate to say this, but with the slide continuing and the pictures that Google has doesn't show the cracking. I mean, it is old. It's like it was done around January or February, but it hadn't shown any structural damage that I have seen or popped up. But they have other streets that are shutting down power because Edison ain't taking any chances. Now, the only good thing, supposedly, is now Newsom finally recognized that the area actually has problems, and he's finally putting into action, too late already, of state resources. Took his ass long enough. He kept screaming at him for how many weeks and how many months over this shit? People are scared, and I don't blame them. And yes, this is upper class because they like to be in the area where they want to see nature. They want to be part of it. They want what they want. They're earning the money for it, and now they're feeling like NIMBYs. When you own property and you're still holding on to it, that seems to be the only hold you have on anything and everything. But it's still terrifying to look at. Not the way it's done here. Kumquat Lane and Pepper Tree Drive. Let's see. Well, deconstructed area out there, so I can understand about that. But the ground out there looked like it had some sliding. I actually got some images of damage. Holy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was in the last several months because they were showing some damages. I didn't even I failed to see this. Okay. Pepper Tree and Kumquat area. Ooh. Okay, if you are doing Google Maps, you're kind of scrolling around a little bit in the Rancho Palos Verdes area. Yeah, there's a slide. There's a slide. Okay. I'm gonna Rancho Palos Verdes. Kumquat. Pepper Tree and I gotta date this. It's a habit of mine when I'm doing PDF files. Now I need to get a better shot of it. Okay. Yeah, because the area I just saw was part of the slide area that they actually had. It's not a month, it's not a two, it's about 3 or 4, I think. But to me, it's still terrifying. It's not that I've seen landslides before. Yeah, I could see them in the pictures and no problem. It's seeing what they were talking about. That's what scares the hell out of me. Ranchos, Palos, Verdes, wide shot, SEP3, 24. Ooh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, let's see. Yeah, because now I'm seeing visual. Visual of the stuff going down. Even though the picture is old. I know it's old. But it still scares the hell out of me. Because I'm seeing geology at work, and my professor would probably say, wow, that's I feel sorry for him, but wow. I mean, she'd be going crazy over this stuff. It's one thing when I see the slides on television, also when I see the slides in person. And I've seen slides before during rainstorms a few decades ago. I didn't work out Rancho. No, I worked in Malibu. But in seeing that activity, it makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me sick to my stomach seeing it. Not the homes, but the deformation in the ground a bit. When I started seeing some of the older pictures of damage and cracking, when I'm seeing that happening, yeah, Cinnamon Lane was the cross. Oh, it's the bloody cross. There's. They're talking about that weeks ago. Cinnamon Lane and Narcissa. Okay. Uh, yeah. I know it sounds crazy for me to overreact like this because it's not happening in my area, but I didn't really do. I really didn't look at the images a lot harder because I was trying to find. If the Google had actually captured ground movement during that time. And it probably is, and I'm not reading it right, or else it's terrifying to look at because I've seen slides before, but it just scares the living crap out of me. But their images are like a few months earlier without showing enough damage as they were talking about it. Use pomegranate and pepper tree drive. Yeah, we'll use pomegranate, definitely. So I gotta get that picture going. To me, they're old pictures. They're not current pictures. But this is just for navigational purposes that they put this information on there. I wish I had the current Landsats. I could take a look, see what's going on. Pomegranate Road. I'm dating my pictures of when I've got them saved. So it gives me an information and an idea what I'm looking at here. Probably think it's voyeurism. What I'm looking. I'm trying to see what they're looking at. If they have been looking. I mean, that got fresher pictures than I have. So I can only go to buy the old stuff. But even looking at the old stuff when I'm seeing a deformation on the ground, yeah, it makes me sick to my stomach. Haven't eaten all that much either. But seeing this stuff, I don't think I'm going to be actually hungry afterwards. No, I am just going to be a little sick to my stomach afterwards. My therapist would have a field day with me over this. She probably would. She probably would. But then again, she hadn't seen as much landslides as I have, or soil creep, or stretching of places. Stretch marks. Palos, Verdes Drive. What am I looking at here? Yeah. Stretch marks. Okay. I gotta start labeling these things. What am I looking at here? Anyway, I'll do this thing some other time. Getting too creeped out right now, guys. Sorry.